Okay, guys, now example number 2 here says use the table of values in example 1 to graph the function y equals 2 to the x. Now I'm going to leave b alone for right now. Let's just look at a. It says use the table of values from example 1. Alright, here was example 1, and there was a table of values. Now I just happen to remember this from writing it, so I'm going to write it down here. That's going to be 1/4, right? And then it was 1/2, and then it was 2 to the 0 is 1, and 2 to the first is 2, 2 squared is 4, and 2 cubed is 8. Okay, so there's the table of values that we got from example 1. Alright? Now, what they want us to do is graph it. So we need to plot these points. Alright, so I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to use green. -2 is just 1/4, so about right there. Alright. -1 is 1/2. Okay. Alright, didn't want that there. Okay. And then let's see. 0 is 1. Alright. And 1 is 2. 2 is 4. Okay. 3 is 8. Alright, right here. Okay, so if I graph this thing, right, I'm going to sketch it going through these points. It looks like this. Now it looks sort of like the one that I did for the intro, right? It looks kind of the same, but the one in the intro you'll notice is a little steeper, and the reason it's a little steeper is because the number that we had, 3 to the x, when we start raising 3 to powers, it's going to grow a lot faster than when we start raising 2 to powers. Okay, so this graph, I know it's kind of it's kind of weird and sketchy. You guys like that word, sketchy. Anyway, it's not smooth, but you can see how it's growing exponentially. It doesn't grow as fast as the 3, but it does it does grow pretty quickly. Okay, so that's what the graph looks like. Now, let's look at part B. B says use a calculator to evaluate y equals 2 to the x when x is 1.5. Okay, so I'm going to write this. Let me just write it again. This is the B part. Okay, so y is equal to 2 to the 1.5. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to type these keys into my calculator. I need to type 2. I'll put a little box around it because that's a key. Alright, and then if you look on your calculator diagonally up to the left, you're going to see something called a caret or an up arrow. You need to press that button, and then you'll see the little blinking light jumps up above the 2, and now you can put in, let's see, 1.5 like that. You can press those buttons in that succession, right? So you've raised 2 to the 1.5 power, and when you do that, hit enter, and you're going to get, and I'm pulling out my calculator. You can't see me, but I'm pulling out my calculator right now. And I know that it's something like 2.8 something, but let's see. All right, I typed it in, and I'm going to get 2.8284. Let's just round it to the 10,000, okay, to 4 places. All right, and so when I raise 2 to that 1.5 power, this is the answer that I get. Okay. All right, and guys, we talked about 0 exponents and negative exponents, and we have to understand that we can actually have exponents that are fractions and decimals, okay? Because if you look at this graph, it doesn't just have little dots, right? It doesn't have a little dot on each of the whole numbers, right? It's continuous. X can be anything, anything. So when I look at that exponent up here by the 2, that thing, it doesn't have to just be whole numbers or negatives or integers. It can also be fractions and decimals. Okay? All right. Good job, guys. And I'll see you at example 3.